Donald Trump is attacking China and Russia via Twitter and accusing them of playing games with their currencies. In doing so, he is directly contradicting this: the macroeconomic and foreign exchange policies of major trading partners. In other words, his own Treasury Department, which says there's no manipulation of currencies. Even so, the president tweeted, Russia and China are playing the currency devaluation game as the US keeps raising interest rates. Not acceptable. Just last Friday, the Treasury Department published a report on foreign exchange. And it says that there's no US trading partner is manipulating its exchange rate. Now, if you look at the dollar versus the yuan over the last 5 years, you do start to see what the president is talking about. In 2015, let's just have a look here. So in 2015 over here, the Central Bank of China let the currency devalue by 2% in a single day. You can see the movements there. Now, as the dollar versus the ruble over the same period, you can see, again, similarly, those sort of movements. But if you look at the way the movement has been over the recent few months, say from 16 onwards, it starts to question it. And again, you can certainly make the same argument with the renminbi, which you can see from this very sharp devaluation. The question, of course, is whether this is as a result of manipulation or allowing the currency to devalue, or is it because US interest rates are going higher? And joining me, Aswar Prasad is the author of Gaining Currency, The Rise of the Renminbi. Joins me from Washington. You are the perfect man to tell me, very simply, is Donald Trump accurate when he makes that claim in his tweet?
It is a presidential tweet, Richard, so I guess you have to take it seriously, but I can tell you that economic and financial circles are perplexed, and so am I. Over the last 13, 14 months since Donald Trump took office, the Chinese currency, the renminbi, has in fact gained in value relative to the US dollar by about 9 to 10%. So in fact, China has been doing the US a favor by allowing its currency to appreciate, which means that in principle, US exports are more competitive in China and Chinese imports are less competitive. So the president seems to be harking back to an earlier time when in fact China was intervening in foreign exchange markets to prevent its currency from appreciating. That is no longer the case.
Right, but on my chart here, you can see the US dollar versus the yuan, and you can see over the last 18 months or so, from 6.8 to 6.2. So in that regard, is that a conscious move, or is that just a move as a result of macroeconomic forces, a stronger US dollar? I mean, a stronger higher US interest rates?
Now, let's be clear about that. That move from 6.8 Chinese yuan to 6.2 actually means that the renminbi is strengthening, meaning that the dollar is depreciating. And the reason for that is that the Chinese economy has been doing quite well. And even though there are prospects of an increase in interest rates in the US, the fact that China has managed to stabilize its economy means that its currency is in fact appreciating against the US dollar, not losing in value.
So to pull the full string of that together, again, looking at my chart, if I draw the medium line across, we are pretty much back to where we were in the middle of 2015. I guess I'm trying not to put it in quite such blunt terms, but the president is wrong.
The president is wrong in this instance. It is not correct to argue that China is manipulating its currency. One indicator of currency manipulation is how much the country's central bank intervenes in foreign exchange markets, and you can look at the level of foreign exchange reserves to see if there is any intervention. Over the last year, the level of foreign exchange reserves held by China has actually stayed relatively flat. Now, certainly before 2015, the renminbi was depreciating. A lot of capital was flowing out of China. China was, in fact, trying to prevent its currency from depreciating too fast. But certainly right now, there is no analytical basis for the case that Mr. Trump is making.
Good to see you, sir.